What does pants refer to in this case? Vision. All right. Content piece number 1. Oh, Discord. I've been forgetting lately to add everyone in Discord. What's up, gamers? Fish content. Copy link. Adding everyone. Hello, gamers. Mini Bisco, Jurassic, Nate, Lesbian Dino Nerd, Emil, Raisa, Lava Rush, Zebtech. Hi, Snot Hog. Terrible name you've got there. Hi, Lava Rush. Juju. Long time no see. I think. I don't remember. Hi, Malls. Hi, Zvimer. Zivmer. You missed last stream? I swear it's been longer than that. I might be wrong, though. I could be wrong. But I think it's been a little bit longer than just one stream. Who knows? It's been Tetris streams, nothing deep. You look even balder now. How? It doesn't make any sense because I haven't shaved my head since the last time that I streamed. So it doesn't make sense that it would have gotten... If anything, I should be less bald now because it's been 4 days. Not gonna lie, you kind of pull it off. Thank you. So I've been compared to 3 characters thus far. Let's, you know what, let's... For the YouTube, but just, you know, go ahead and... Yeah, I'm bald. I've been compared to 3 characters, three people so far, right? And I have numbers, okay? On everyone.
Just wanted to sub. Have a nice stream, Fishman.
Thank you, Aram. All right, so this one time I have been compared... Oh, shit. Who did my sister compare me to yesterday? I can't remember now. Oh, right. Okay, so my sister compared me to Walter White. I only got one of those, which is good because Walter White is old and weak. All right. So I didn't getting that one time. Great. I'll take that as a one time. I have gotten Mr. Clean 3 times. Mr. Clean, buff, hot. We take it. Big fan of that one. Now, for some reason, everyone else has agreed upon one person. I have gotten Mr. Clean 3 times and Walter White once. And I have gotten Saitama from One Punch Man over 20 times. If you look at the Instagram comments on the post that I did about it, I got so many comments about being fucking One Punch Man. And then multiple people I know in real life compared to One Punch Man. And then multiple people in Discord did One Punch Man. And all I'm saying is, that's like the strongest guy in the universe. He's buff. Come on. We're not that mad about that one.
Bald unicorn.
Thank you, Aval. Happy to see you as well. I did not go to the gym today, Aval, because I played futsal last night and fucked up a bunch of shit on my body, so. You look like a shark. That doesn't make sense. The principal from Tog. I don't even know what that is. Was the last stream the criminal one, or did I miss one? Yeah, the last stream was the criminal one, I think. Yeah, and then I played some Tetris after. Or no, I did a Tetris stream after that, I think. Yeah, no, because the last stream was like, I had already shaved my head completely. Jaffa cake vibes. Yeah, just get all your comparisons out now. Can you guys just tell me what you think Jaffa cake? What are you talking about? How do I look like this? That doesn't make sense. Can you guys just get your comparisons out now? Like, go ahead. What do you think I look like right now? Give me your worst. All right. And then I will be comparison free for a while because you guys have already gotten out. Then you're never allowed to do it again. This is the only stream where you're allowed to compare me to another bald person. Literally an egg with a marker on it. Principal from the Amazing World of Gumball. Greg from the pub. Krillin.
Poggers.
I mean...
Old my eyes.
Okay, thanks, Rose. It's very kind of you. Congratulations on your baby. Baldi's Basics. I don't even know what that is. Definitely Eminem. No, dude, not at all. I don't look anything like Eminem. That's just a bad one. A middle-aged divorced father? I don't agree with... You know what? No. You know what? You get to get it out right now. Whatever you want to do. I'm not rapping. Nacho from Breaking Bad. I know Nacho from Breaking Bad. I don't think I look like Nacho. Oh my god, it's Piccolo? What are you talking about? Piccolo is green with antennas. You look like my mate Paul on the day he drove drunk. Okay, that's great. Really good head shape, though. I don't know what that means. Am I dark or is... I can't tell. I have my windows open and it's very bright outside, so... You look like someone I would find head down at a local bar. So an alcoholic, then. Is that what you're saying? Well, good for you. I don't drink. So... Side character of some stereotypical prison movie. Some people have peanut head. I don't know what this means, Rose, but I will take it as a compliment. Dr. Evil. Eggman without the man. So egg. Google peanut head. Oh. I see. I understand. Local plug. Just got out of prison. All right, you guys get 2 more minutes. Mr. Clean. You get 2 more minutes to make your comparisons. If you are not making your comparisons right now, you will never, ever be able to make the comparisons again. So, go ahead and get it out, chat. Could land a drone on your skull. Cool. Eyebrows stand out much more. That's nice, thank you. I take good care of my eyebrows. Believe it or not, I don't pluck because I hate pain, but I do shave to make them nice. Not obsessively, but, you know, to a reasonable degree. Pitbull? Okay. We're just naming people who are bald now. Terry Crews? Do you not see a problem with that comparison? I like it a lot more than your other cut. Are you referring to, like, buzzed? You look hard to make quirky jokes about because you honestly look normal. That is the reality of it, but unfortunately people are going to try anyway, so I'm just giving them the opportunity to get it out now. Are you going to dye your hair when it's a tiny bit longer? You think I should grow it out like another week and then dye it? Go Omar Apollo, Dominic Fike, dye it blonde. Andrew Tate. That's good, thank you. Chia Pet. No. Sadly, I can't think of anything. You're too normal looking. Mala. Hi, honey. Mala, stream wants to say hi. She doesn't want to say hi. I'm terrorizing her. I was gonna show her to stream. It's like a 50-50 where she's down to be picked up and then where she runs away. Oh, she's in the background though. Check it out. Check it out. That's a mala right there. Grow it out and get a 2000s Timberlake perm. 2000s Justin Timberlake perm. No. What is wrong with you? I don't look like you put ice cubes in your water. What are you talking about? Who doesn't put ice? You... Hi, Liz. All right. We can't see what you're Googling? Yeah, I know. All right. Shall we do some stuff? I'm going to wander into the forest tonight and catch some bugs. Bro, I had a crazy bug day. There's this building near-ish me, and it's a astronomical observatory. So it's just a giant white building. It's like huge all the way around. It's in the middle of a forest, but they like cut out all around it. Okay, but it's in like untouched forest. So what happens is tons of bugs, you know, on hot days crawl up the side of that. And it's a really nice day today. So I just like walk around the edge of that building and find crap loads of cool bugs. I only brought 2 specimen vials, like 2 little vials like this when I went there. And I think I got like 8 beetles in each vial. I caught so much crap today. I'm going to have a lot to add to the pin board. I don't know if I told you guys, but I am pinning. I'm working on beetle pinning. Don't have like displays yet, but I've only been doing it since like, I don't know, 2 months. So working on it, but there's like, the bottom left is weevils. Down here is weevils. I've got a lot more to get, but a lot of the weevils are too small to really be pinned. There's a diving beetle. I have a bigger diving beetle. There's a best beetle, and then these are all ground beetle species. I'm mainly working on ground beetles right now. There's a carrion beetle here. I have a lady beetle, but I have a couple lady beetles that I'm going to add now. While taking out the trash this morning, I do, gay hibiscus. There was a diving beetle on there, and then I have a pretty big diving beetle right now that I have to pin. I have to pin yet. It's pretty big, but I caught a 20 spot lady beetle this morning. I don't know if you guys know that there are more than just the Asian lady beetle, more than just the red one with the black spots. So this is a 20 spotted lady beetle I caught, but it's too small to pin, so I'm raising it as a child. And it's in a contraption. Is that why you got arrested? No. Carrion beetle or carry-on beetle? Carrion, the first one. Carrion. They're, I gotta search for them more. There's a lot of carrion beetles. They are like decomposers, like dead body decomposers. So like dead deer on the side of the road or like a dead raccoon or something. That's the kind of thing that they hang out on. There's a bird fight going on. Yeah, they eat dead stuff. So, I mean, I guess all beetles eat dead stuff. They're not like, beetles are not particularly hunters, but you know. Pronounced carrion. I like carrion better, so get fucked. Just like I'm gonna say lichen for the rest of my life and not lichen, because get fucked. Don't know what to tell you. Get over it. Okay. Let's do some content. Should grow out a rat tail. Oh yeah, we have a fun react. I wonder if I'm gonna get copyright claim for this react. I think in the past I've heard that wired and cut are kind of strict, or maybe it's not cut. I think wired is the, you know, the one where someone answers questions. They'll like copyright people for doing the same idea. So I can't even imagine what they'll do for me being, you know, me reacting to it. But there is a new Wired video about marine biologist answers fish questions from Twitter. And so the marine biologist is going to answer a bunch of questions about fish from Twitter. I thought I would answer along to the questions, but this is a great opportunity to first clarify to YouTube. Also, hi YouTube, I'm bald. Get over it. You can comment whatever you want on this video, and then every other video, can we just not, because it's too annoying to deal with. Anyways, I am not a marine biologist. For some reason, everyone thinks I'm a marine biologist, even though I've never said I'm a marine biologist. I'm a fish biologist. I study fish. I went to school to study fish. I studied ecosystems, natural resources, evolution, fishery science. I am very highly specialized in fish. I do not study the ocean in general. Marine biologists study the ocean in general. They are knowledgeable in crustaceans and other invertebrates and all sorts of things like that, but I am not. Really, other than like things that I've learned, you know, through hobby. My primary knowledge is fish themselves. So call me an ichthyologist would be great. Ichthyologist, I say fish biologist on YouTube just because it's simpler, but I'm not a marine biologist. But this guy apparently is a marine biologist, unless they labeled him wrong. But I do actually know, this is funny, I think he follows me on Twitter, Corey Evans. Unless I'm crazy, do I follow him or does he follow me on Twitter? I don't have the clout. I don't have the clout, chat. I follow him. He doesn't follow me on Twitter. But I do know him from Twitter, so it's pretty cool. He only has like 6,000. I'm sure he gained some followers from this YouTube video. So he only has a couple thousand followers on Twitter. And managed to get a Wired video. Why didn't they get me for the Wired video? Ridiculous. All right, let's watch the video. I'm on my headphone cord. Excuse me.
I'm Professor Corey Evans. I study fishes. Let's answer some questions from the internet. This is Marine Biology Support.
In all reality, by the way, he has a much better, probably, like, tech support level fish biologist than I am. I think I have good speaking skills, but he has some incredibly in-depth knowledge of very specific things. So if he answers some questions about them, he would outperform me any day.
At Gabe Savage 6 asks, is Finding Nemo an accurate representation of ocean life? Yes and
There's some cool stuff in Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo has some, you know, the clownfish anemone relationship, the reef relationship in general, how the reef is like pinned over like a drop off. Those things are all very cool and realistic. However, and honestly, maybe it's a good thing that they didn't get me for this video, because I would have gone off here talking about how Nemo would have fucked his dad, because Nemo would have fucked his dad. His dad would have become a female as the now largest male in the clownfish community, and then Nemo would have made babies with his dad, who is now a female. Some crazy shit happens with clownfish. Let's just say it's probably a good thing that they didn't invite me to answer this question because I might not have made the most YouTube friendly content.
no. One thing that they did get right is that clownfish do in fact live in anemones, and they are in fact immune to the stings of the anemones. One thing that is pretty different is that clownfishes actually can change their sex. So in the movie,
Is he gonna
Nemo's
do
mom
it?
gets eaten, and in real life, after a female clownfish is eaten or dies, the largest male will then become the female. So Marlin in Finding Nemo would have actually become a female.
Oh my
clownfish.
god, he actually did it. He just said it better than me. I just said Nemo would fuck his dad, and he's like talking about it scientifically.
And laid his own clutch of eggs within probably the next week or two. So another thing that's different is Bruce the shark. So in the movie, Bruce the shark is a male shark, but if you look close, Bruce the shark does not have claspers. Claspers are the male intermittent organ.
I'm notably terrible at observation. I have awful unless I'm like specifically looking. Like when I'm looking at a fish and I'm looking for certain features, I have great observational skills, you know. But like in general, I never notice things. Those like video tests where you have to watch a bunch of things happen, I'm a true failure at those things. I would never ever have looked at any of the sharks in any cartoon and looked for claspers. Bruce is trans.
The sharks have, they're on the pelvic fins. They're basically two very long penises. Clear as day. And
Not
Bruce doesn't have
exactly.
them, so Bruce is technically maybe a female shark.
I know he knows this, but I'm just going to say it anyways to add to the video. They're not like penises, actually. The sperm does not come out of them. The sperm goes down them like a conveyor belt. They're basically giant escalators for sperm.
At Do G's Move Silent asks, why is white sand different from brown? White sand is generally derived from the shells of other animals. Shells get broken down either via wave action or via animal feeding. And brown sand is different in that it's typically the result of rocks that have been eroded over time. Most of the white sand comes from a very unlikely source, and that is parrotfishes. They feed on coral skeletons, and when
There's
they
the pink
excrete it,
sand
they
beach
excrete
in
it as this
Bermuda.
nice white fine sand. So much of the white sand that you see is derived from parrotfish poop. A single parrotfish can produce 450 kilograms of sand per year. So that's a lot of poop. That's a lot of sand. At Meyer Wynn asks, how do schools of fish swim in harmony? So in order to
Ooh,
answer
the
that
lateral
question, we have to
line.
talk about the
lateral line. They have pores with tiny hairs coming through them on the side of their body that go all the way down, and they can sense minute changes in the water. There generally tends to be a leader in a like school of fish. I think they've done studies about that. And everyone else can sort of feel the movements of the leader as they move and move along with them. But it's not a conscious thing. It's just like, you know, millions of years of evolution. They're very good at feeling the movement of the fish that they're following and doing the same thing.
sensory systems of the fish. So all fishes, for the most part, have what we call a lateral line structure, which is just a long line that runs from head to tail.
I love that you always have to say for the most part. All fishes for the most part, because there is no rule with fish that doesn't have an exception. I don't think there's anything you can say about fish. Like, try to say something about a fish that has, you know, doesn't have an exception. You'd be like, oh, they all have fins. Well, actually, there are fish that don't have fins. They all have eyes. Well, actually, there are fish that don't have eyes. It's like there's all fish all have brains. Okay, you might have gotten me there. Let's talk external, because internal, yes, you got me. They all live in the water. There are fish that live in the dirt, and there are fish that live on land most of the time. Fish all have spines? Vertebra, you mean? Not exactly. Well, maybe. But not exactly. They all like to eat. Hair cells, not hairs. Yeah. Sensory hairs is just the easy way to think about it. Can you guys hear that bird? No, you can't, because I have my windows open today because it's really hot and I don't have air conditioning, and I live in an upstairs area, so it gets really hot. But anyways, cool thing about them.
And it's covered what we call mechanoreceptors. These are little hair cells that can sense changes in water pressure. This is why if you ever try to catch a fish with your hand, even if it's looking away from you, it generally gets away from you. And that's because when you put your hand in the water, you push water towards these lateral line cells, and the fish knows where you are without even looking. Typically in a fish school, one fish will generally respond.
Are those not boops? Those aren't boops. They're related to boops, though.
Onto the movements of the fish that's right next to it. So as this fish moves, it's going to push water towards the lateral line of that fish. And if you repeat that over a really large scale, that's how you get these really nice, harmonious, and synchronized movements across fish schools. Swimming
No, not all fish have gills.
in schools makes it...
There's a fish which Latin name is boops. Genus boops, specific epithet boops. There's also a shiner that's Natropus boops. There's a lot of fish with specific epithet boops, but then there's a fish that is boops.
Easier to move through water. Water is what we call highly viscous. So when you have something in front of you that's breaking up kind of the flow and distribution of water, it makes it easier for the thing behind it to swim. At Muskoka Mike 2 asks, why are orcas attacking boats? The short answer is they don't want them there. They're trying to move the boats out of the way, and the
See? Now this is where we differentiate. I probably have some more in-depth knowledge about some fish-related stuff, but he's a marine biologist and knows about whales. I don't know that much about whales, to be honest with you. I know very surface-level things from hobby and just spending a lot of time around the information. I've never had any formal education on whales.
boats generally disturb their marine environments. Humans generally have a very long history of messing with whales, especially from boats. Humans basically wiped out most of the whale populations in the Atlantic via these whaling boats. The unique thing about orcas is that orcas kind of have culture like humans do. They have the ability to transmit information to subsequent generations without having to pass it on through their genes. Some orcas actually do have fashion. There was a trend where one orca started wearing a fish as a hat, and later on the other orcas in the pods also started wearing fish hats. And then this fashion actually jumped to other pods of orcas also trying on the fish hat craze. At Red CPS, what is the fastest sea creature?
The fastest sea creature? I'm gonna get this wrong. I know the fastest fish, but is that the fastest creature? Is there anything that goes faster than marlin? Probably not. Maybe dive speed, like some birds might dive faster, but that's not a sea creature, really. Oh, if you count the pistol shrimp or the mantis shrimp's punch, that technically is faster, but that's not sustained.
No Google needed. The fastest sea creature in the ocean is the sailfish. These fish can get up to 50 miles an hour. Many of the fastest sea creatures happen to be warm-blooded, or what we call endothermic. Tunas are famously warm-blooded. These animals are also high-speed swimmers, about 40 miles an hour for a tuna. At Michigan Fool asks, serious question. Where do shells come from? Does marine life make them and then abandon them? All shells come from
calcium carbonate in the water.
Animals, generally invertebrate animals that basically lay these down as protection, and things like this conch shell, which is actually the remnant of a very large snail. Marine invertebrates over the past 300 million years have evolved the ability to take in minerals from seawater and their food, limestone or calcium carbonate, and construct them into these very elaborate...
I didn't know there were shells made of limestone. I learned something new.
Exoskeletons. Sometimes you'll find shells that have holes in the top. This is typically from a marine predator, like boring snails, where they'll actually drill a hole into the shell of this animal and consume it. Some shells are really, really pretty, and you might be tempted to pick them up. One example here is the cone snail shell, but the animal that lives in these is incredibly dangerous. The cone snail is actually a venomous snail. We don't have an antidote for their venom. If they're disturbed, they will shoot a harpoon full of venom into the pocket of the person who's likely put their...
Well, he said both, Gay Hibiscus. He said limestone or calcium carbonate. So I guess there's some, shell-dwelling organisms that use limestone, which I didn't know.
Shell in their pocket. So even though they're beautiful, some shells should stay at the beach. At George M6 8340969 asks, a starfish has no brain, so how does it know it's hungry? The short answer to this question is to assume the starfish is always hungry because they most likely are. They are voracious predators. The starfish has no brain, so it doesn't have a centralized decision-making center. However, each arm is packed with sensory structures, and each arm will basically taste the water, and once enough kind of tentacles start pointing towards where the food is, the entire animal will then kind of move its body in that
Rip
direction.
fish.
Once a starfish lands on something that it wants to eat, say this clam, for example, it will actually force the shell of that clam open just a little bit, and it'll insert its stomach into the shell of the clam. So it'll eject the stomach out of its own body into the shell of this clam, where it will then digest the clam inside its own shell, and then draw the stomach back inside of them when they're done feeding.
I'm sorry, what? It shoots its stomach out, does external digestion, and then takes the stomach back? That's sick.
Neon Gundam asks, how can a mantis shrimp see more colors than I can? You're telling me there's a color out there called Blurple that I can't see? Brello, Gred, man, science, and shrimp. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Can't they see like 4 times as many colors or something like that? Because they just have the super complex eye that I don't remember the science hippie term for. It's pretty cool. It's crazy to think about the fact that like the desk I'm looking at right now is just a bunch of different shades of brown, but with a more complex eye, there might be a color in there that I've never seen before.
Mantis shrimp and many other aquatic animals have the ability to see far more colors than we can because they have more photoreceptors in their eyes. So mantis shrimp can see well into the UV spectrum. I'm not even sure that this is the craziest thing about mantis shrimp. Some mantis shrimp have the ability to punch so fast, it looks like a flick when they punch, that their actual punching club tears water molecules apart. And when the water molecules rush in to fill that space,
Bro can make an atom bomb with his hands.
To boil at really, really high temperatures. Inside of this little bubble of boiling water, the temperatures can reach and exceed.
Imagine being able to see ultraviolet light. That would suck. We live above the water. Ultraviolet light is absolutely everywhere. The sun is everywhere. It would just be constant. There would just be a haze on everything. I guess there is already atmospheric haze, but that's kind of different.
Temperature of the surface of the sun. At Dynamic Webpage asks, so freaking jealous of anglerfish sometimes. Why didn't I evolve with a built-in nighttime reading lamp? The short answer is because you didn't evolve in the depths of the ocean, and you don't have to draw your food towards your mouth. So in the anglerfish head, there's a fin at the top that's been transformed into a lure, and in deep sea anglerfishes, this lure is bioluminescent, so it lights.
Wait, it's a fin? I thought it was one spine at the front of the dorsal fin. I could be wrong.
And they use it to attract prey. What this anglerfish will do is it'll sit there in the middle of the water column with this light up lure in front of its face, and fish will come in thinking that it's food, and they will then themselves become food. At W Wonderbot asks, what is the smartest animal in the sea?
Probably orcas. I think orcas are the most socially, certainly. I'm trying to think what is like the most mechanically intelligent. I don't know, it's weird. Measuring intelligence is really hard. It's still probably orcas, no matter what measurement you go by.
It's hard to compare intelligence, but I would probably argue dolphins. They have the ability to pass the mirror test, which is being able to recognize themselves in the mirror. Other examples include octopuses. Some octopuses are able to solve maze problems in order to find food. Also, fun fact, many octopuses have the ability to rapidly change their color to match their surroundings. At JPB Low asks, how do octopuses change their color? Their skin actually has the ability to see or perceive the
chromatophores. Magical little cells that can reflect light at different levels. I've read, I think I had a class that involved this to some degree, and I've read like the textbook pages about how the actual color change works, and it's some crazy science hippie shit. Like it's the actual like mathematics and the mechanics of being able to change colors, because it's not like literally changing colors, right? It's reflecting light at different wavelengths, which is how you form different colors.
Color on the background that they're sitting on, and that information is somehow passed on to the chromatophores that lives underneath the skin. Each chromatophore.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think octopuses are as intelligent as people give them credit for. I think they're incredibly intelligent for their group of, you know, for where they are, for being an invertebrate. They certainly show many more like signs of intelligence than a lot of, you know, other invertebrates like lobsters or whatever. But I don't think they're as intelligent as people make them out to be, like alien geniuses. They just have a good sense of smell and are flexible and have good pattern recognition. But again, it's like how you measure intelligence. If you measure intelligence in like ability to solve mazes, they're pretty fucking good.
Holds one pigment. There might be a blue pigment, a red pigment, and a yellow pigment. They can rapidly change the distribution of these pigments in their skin. It allows them to rapidly change color, and they have fine scale control over each of these pigment cells. At Mr. McKenzie SD5 asks, how do you tell a fish's age? So fishes...
Otolith. There's a little bone in their ear, and it has rings on it like tree rings for every developmental stage. I think the reason for it is similar. I know in trees, the reason that you can see the rings is because over the winter, they don't grow as much. So then there's like a period of stagnation, and that's what forms a ring. So you're sort of counting the amount of winters that a tree has been through. I think that's how that works. I think the otolith is similar. It's like when they're not prioritizing growth. But I don't know how it works when they get old and stop growing.
Generally have indeterminate growth. However, there is a way to tell. This is a 3D printed fish skull. There are a couple bones in the back of the skull here that are called otoliths. They're underneath the skull. But if you were to pull them out, you'd find these really nice coin-shaped bones that have these concentric growth rings around them.
I have a bottle of otoliths that I found at the beach back there.
Lay down these growth rings in their bone, much like trees do. So you can actually count the rings in fish bone, much like you would in a tree. At Exo Danny asks, fish fry at my grandma's today. Fish with bones and fish without bones. Yeah, this is how I classify my fish. This is how I classify my fish too. So it turns out you can actually classify much of vertebrate diversity into these really neat categories of fishes with bones and fishes without bones. All the vertebrates that have jaws can be broken into two distinct categories. So there are
I was going to be like, well, actually anathans, but then he defined it as fishes with jaws.
Fish, which are sharks, stingrays, and the rare chimera. And then there are bony fishes, which include trouts, frogs, cats, dogs, and you and me. Yes, even you and me. Biologists typically classify humans and mammals in general as a group of organisms within the larger clade of bony fishes. At CPF Channer asks, do all fish have similar numbers / types of fins? And what are these fins called?
There's like a general pattern that fish in general follow, you know, pelvic, pectoral, dorsal, caudal, anal. But in general, there are a lot of exceptions, as there always is with fish. There are fish that have 2 dorsal fins, and then there's fish that have adipose fins, and then there's fish that are totally lacking one or the other, you know?
Some of the common fins you might see are these pectoral fins off on the side. Pectoral fins in general are often used in hovering behaviors, so you see these in fishes that live in coral reefs. So things like wrasses and triggerfishes will oftentimes flap their pectoral fins to hover over a structure to further investigate whatever.
Which species has the tastiest otolith? It's just straight up bone, bro. It's like, it's hard. I think you're imagining the otolith as something that it's not. It would be like biting a penny.
Is living in it. The fins at the top are typically called dorsal fins. The front dorsal fin is particularly interesting because they oftentimes get adapted into venomous spines, sometimes even fatal in the case of the stonefish.
How many times has fucking venomous spines evolved? There are so many fish where like the front dorsal or like the first ray on the front dorsal becomes a venomous spine. It has happened in so many different groups over time. I wonder, how many separate times has nature turned a fin into a spine?
This little Nile perch. It looks like one continuous dorsal fin, but there's basically a skin connection between the front spiny dorsal fin rays and the back kind of feathery dorsal fin.
How does venom even evolve? I feel like I remember, the only thing I can remember is I think I saw something about a spider venom and it had something to do with stomach acid. Or no, it was a snake. It had something to do with like the snake used its stomach acid in its mouth. It developed immunity to the stomach acid in the mouth and then used the stomach acid in the mouth as it bit things to like help sort of like digest and bite, and it came from there. But venom has evolved separately many times. Clearly there's a recipe for venom and poison that just kind of happens sometimes.
This back fin is called the caudal fin, and it's used to generate thrust if a fish is trying to get away. It'll beat this tail fin to help it move quickly. At Niv Wrights asks, does coral count as an animal? It's so alive and...
Yes, coral is a bunch of animals. The one individual piece of coral you see is thousands upon thousands of animals.
So pretty. It is, in fact...
Can you eat venom and be fine? No. I mean, I guess it depends on the venom. Different venoms are more potent than others, but in general, no. It will have the same effect as getting stabbed with it.
an animal, and it's also alive and very pretty. They're closely related to jellyfish, but instead of floating in the ocean, they build these complex limestone skeletons, so you can see these little holes and pockmarks inside the coral skeleton.
Oh, maybe this was what he meant about limestone. Maybe because coral utilizes limestone rather than specifically just calcium carbonate.
That's where the individual polyps live. So in life, this coral would be very, very colorful. However, this particular skeleton is bleached. So when corals get stressed because of higher temperatures in the ocean, they'll expel the algae that they keep inside their tissues, and they'll basically have no way.
You've heard the opposite, so long as there's no cuts in your digestive tract. Interesting. So you're saying that every part of your body, as long as your bloodstream isn't exposed, your stomach will deal with it. I think that's highly dependent on the potency of the venom, though. Surely there is venom that will have effects, especially irritant effects, that are really bad beyond, like, it doesn't necessarily have to get into your bloodstream. I mean, they're harmful acidic venoms and, irritants and so forth. I don't know. But I guess theoretically, if you get the venom down to your stomach acid and your stomach acid breaks it down into harmless, byproducts before it sends it out your body, I guess you could theoretically eat venom.
To feed, and they'll starve over the course of the next several weeks. Losing these reefs, which can happen very, very quickly, will have catastrophic effects on tropical diversity worldwide. So ways to prevent this include reducing global temperatures, taking climate change seriously in general, and in some very isolated cases, pumping cold seawater back.
How many species of poisonous fish there are that are just small? Between venom and poison, which are, I think, technically the same thing, but delivered through different methods, because the difference is poison is you eat it and you get bad effect, and venom is they can apply it to you actively. So theoretically, the fundamental components are varied throughout many different species, but they're the same concept of, and some sort of degradatory chemical. There's a guy who lets himself get bitten by venomous snakes in order to make antibodies for antivenoms. Sick.
Onto the corals. At Elizabeth Rush asks, how does the goblin shark even eat without its nose getting in the way? Goblin sharks have these
They have a protrusible mouth that comes out the bottom because they scan along the bottom and eat shit off the bottom.
They elongate rostra or noses that they use to sense other animals in the water column. In order to feed, they actually have to protrude their mouth out away from their nose to catch prey and bring it back. If you just try to bite something underwater, you'll actually push it away from you.
Yeah, I know the difference between poison and venom. I'm talking about the chemicals behind them, I believe, are the same concept. There's no difference between poison and venom chemically. The sole difference is how it's applied.
So many animals have evolved the ability to protrude their mouths and generate suction to bring prey towards them. Another one is the slingjaw wrasse. They have the ability to protrude their jaw up to a third of their total body length to bring in evasive prey and then retract it. At Jameson Rich asks, never forget that there's a creature on this earth that was discovered and named by the people of science, the vampire squid from hell. So yes, vampire squids are real. They are a thing. They were discovered in the late 1890s in the Valdivia expedition. If you
How do you just know that? What, bro just knows when things were discovered off the top of his head? I don't even know when my favorite fish was discovered or named. And I've spent a lot of time with that.
Thinking that there would be no life at the bottom of the ocean and you pulled up that vampire squid, you would name it the vampire squid from hell too. Contrary to their appearance, which can be quite terrifying, these animals have basically made a living out of doing nothing. They live in oxygen minimum zones in the ocean, so they very rarely ever move, and they feed primarily on leftover food that basically floats down from the surface. At Jaquel82.
No, I wouldn't put it past him to know about specific expeditions, especially significant ones where, large groups of organisms, important organisms were discovered. I don't know when my shiners were defined or split or all that. It's complicated. American freshwater fish history is all made up anyways because the natives all had pretty good concepts of all the species here before, Europeans came in and naturalized, naturalists did it. So it's like the actual time is complicated anyways.
77638 asks, OMG, when did whales learn to walk on land? Whales went
the other way around. Whales are mammals that came back into the water. So they didn't really learn to walk on land. They unlearned how to walk on land.
To walk on land about 35 million years ago. So all whales, manatees, and seals evolved from ancestors that once walked on land. These whale ancestors gradually became more.
Bro, that has to be a video game asset. There's no way someone just made this and it's not in like an Ark mod or something.
Aquatic, and as they got larger and as they became more adapted to aquatic habitats, they evolved a broader range and a wider range of dietary strategies. At Stephanie Lino asks, there's no way seahorses are real. Seahorses are quite real. Seahorses have been around for 13 million years, and in that time, they've actually evolved a broad variety of body shapes, typically associated with camouflage. There are things like the leafy sea dragon, which looks like a piece of kelp.
Pipefish.
Seahorses are terrible swimmers, some of the worst. To get around that, they've evolved these prehensile tails that allow them to basically wrap their tails around structures so that
That is not a solution. What do you mean to get around that? They still can't swim. They still can't go anywhere voluntarily. He said they're the worst swimmers, and then he's like, well, they get around that by having a prehensile tail. That's like, I can't walk, but I'm really good at holding on to things. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'm not able to walk. My legs, they don't function, but I get around it by being able to hold on to things really good. Like, that's not...
they can stay put. The seahorse is perhaps most famous for the fact that the male seahorse gives birth. The female will transfer
look
her
at that
eggs
fucking tiny, look like a ghost.
into the brooding pouch of the male seahorse, and then when the eggs hatch, the male seahorse will actually give birth to the little seahorse babies. At BY Brandon White asks, what is the best defense mechanism in the sea? My favorite defense mechanism in the sea actually happens to be electricity. You see this in torpedo rays and stargazers oftentimes. If you grab them,
I love the anecdotal story of, I wasn't there, but the person who pulls up the seine and there's like a bunch of fish in it, and all of the fish are like jumping up and down in the seine, and they're like really confused as to what's going on because all the fish are being like thrown into the air over and over again by the net, and there was a big ass torpedo ray at the bottom continuously electrocuting every fish in the seine. So all the fish are just electrocuted jumping because the torpedo ray was freaking out in the net.
You actually be shocked. The way that they are able to shock you is using these modified muscle cells that have evolved to be able to generate an electric current. For some electric fishes, for instance, the electric eel, the current can be as strong as 600 volts. The electric eel can drop a horse. But perhaps the weirdest defense mechanism that you'll see in the sea actually comes from hagfish slime.
We should just use them to power things. That's not efficient, surely, right? How much food does it take to raise an electric eel, and how much electricity can an electric eel put out reasonably? Can we make a measurement? What is and then how much energy does it take to make that food in the first place? Are electric eels infinite electricity sources? Does it cost less food energy production into them than it takes we get out of it?
Hagfish slime feels weird. It feels wet,
Yuck.
slimy, but also fibrous. So as you pull it apart, it still has some consistency to it. If a shark, for instance, will come and take a bite out of a hagfish, before the shark can even bite down, the hagfish will secrete slime and clog up the shark's mouth and gills.
Yeah, hagfish are invincible. Try eating a hagfish. It's impossible. Is that humane? No, obviously.
To make an escape. At MWSRXO asks, what do fish breathe in? Water or air? Wow, how do they make bubbles down there?
They breathe in water and they extract oxygen from the water using countercurrent exchange on the filaments in their gill.
So fish actually breathe oxygen. They bring in the oxygen from the water and they extract it with their gills. These gills are really sensitive. They're often 1 or 2 cell layers thick. They have to remain
anatomical diagram of gills.
Really thin to allow for gas exchange. The internal structures here that you can see in the gills are called gill rakers. They'll swim through a school of plankton with their mouths open, and these rakers in the gills will trap the plankton while allowing water to pass through. One way that fishes generate bubbles is through their gas bladder. So some fish, like for instance,
loach.
the dojo loach, actually has the ability to release gas out of its anus to sink further down into the water.
Basically, they can regulate their swimming with their buoyancy by farting. That is what he said. See, this is why they had him on here and not me, because I would have said, yeah, loaches sink themselves by farting. And he's like, well, they actually regulate their gas bladder by releasing gas out of the anus.
MJ Dukwa, it's crazy how sea creatures just know exactly where to go when they migrate.
They don't. They follow a bunch of tiny signs, and if something's minutely off, they'll just end up in the complete wrong place. We see that all the time. It happens with birds too. If you're a bird watcher, you will know this better than anyone else, that sometimes birds just be in the wrong place all the time.
Marine animals will follow the magnetic field of the earth. Big migrations include the migrations that we see in humpback whales as they move from the tropics, where they give birth and where they breed, to temperate and colder feeding grounds where they'll feed on plankton. Other big migrations include salmon. They grow up in fresh water, they move out to the ocean, and then they can return to the stream that they were born in to reproduce. And they
Damn.
accomplish this by following the Earth's magnetic field and also tracking the scent of the stream that they were born in. At the Hindu Science asks, what is the diel vertical migration and its role in carbon sequestration? The diel vertical migration is the
Bro had a marine biology test the next day and asked the Twitter question. That is such a Googleable Twitter question.
largest migration on the planet. This occurs every night all around the world, where plankton will actually move up from the depths of the oceans. There's mixing of the carbon dioxide in the air with the water right at the surface. Plant plankton will basically extract carbon dioxide from the ocean and use this carbon to build their bodies. Larger plankton will then come and eat these plant plankton, and then fishes and other animals will come eat the larger plankton as well.
Did you know that there are diel vertical migrations in freshwater too? Trout perch being one of the best examples. There are fish that do it in Lake Baikal in Russia as well, but trout perch are my favorite example in the US. They go from the bottom of deep lakes up into really shallow streams every single night and then all the way back.
And then sink back down to the depths, taking that carbon with them. So it actually ends up being very important for the sequestration of carbon dioxide. At C4A1 asks, do you ever think about what lives in the Mariana Trench and freak yourself out? Yes.
No, because it's just snailfish.
The Mariana Trench is the deepest point in the ocean, 36,000 feet deep. It's deeper than Mount Everest is tall. We have actually reached close to the bottom. James Cameron and about 6 other ocean explorers have taken submersibles down into the depths of the Mariana Trench. At that depth, the ocean reaches pressures that would basically crush us instantly if we ever went down there. But many animals have evolved to actually live there. In order to do so, vertebrates have generally reduced their bony skeletons. You probably wouldn't find a megalodon at the depths of the Mariana Trench.
Why did he say you probably wouldn't? Damn it, Corey, you're being too scientific.
Megalodon actually evolved to live in shallow tropical waters like in the Bahamas, but you might find like some weird clams. At C22 Honcho asks, how do these bioluminescent waves work? Do people just throw glow sticks in there or what? These bioluminescent waves are widespread around the world. You can find them in places like Puerto Rico. You can also find them off the coast of the Pacific Ocean. They're produced by plankton, and whenever plankton are startled or disturbed, they'll release bioluminescence to disorient predators.
Have you met a marine biologist that is a pescatarian? I've met many marine biologists that are pescatarian. It's a very common thing where they have like enough animal consciousness to want to be like not eating beef and that kind of, like enough environmental consciousness to not want to be eating like beef or chicken or anything like that, but still consume fish. It's actually pretty common because I started as a marine biology major, so I spent plenty of time around marine biology, and a lot of my classes overlapped. So I definitely spent a lot of time with marine biology majors, and there were a lot of pescatarians.
So they'll have little openings in their exoskeletons that allow for light to be produced. At Neko BK asks, y'all knew jellyfish are immortal? Like them bitches don't die ever? It turns out some jellyfish are in fact immortal. The immortal jellyfish, so aptly named, has the ability to revert back to its juvenile stage. If it's ever injured or starving, it will then later produce a genetically identical clone of itself to further perpetuate itself. Other animals in the ocean are famously long-lived. The Greenland shark is a great example.
Look at him. Look at his eye and his mouth. He looks so dumb. But yeah, no, these things live forever. There are Greenland sharks alive now that like not only saw... Isn't there a Greenland shark that was alive at the same time as Genghis Khan? That might not be true anymore, but I thought there was like a theoretical world where Genghis Khan conquering the entirety of like Eurasia overlapped with the baby Greenland shark that would still be alive now. So it saw the entire like history of the world.
These animals can reach 600 years. Many of our large whales can live for hundreds and hundreds of years. There are still whales out there today that have the old harpoons from harpoon ships still embedded in them. Some lobsters can get pretty close to being immortal. Whenever a lobster grows, it actually has to shed its shell. They're very vulnerable during molting process because their soft parts are basically exposed, and many animals are really cued in to find crustaceans that are molting. Especially once they get older, it gets harder to escape that molting shell. So a lobster that's been alive for, 150 years might finally die by at last being unable to escape that shell. The estimates for lifespan are technically indefinite because if nothing eats them, they can just keep going. At Hannah X Girl, I need to know why evolution keeps making crabs. So we don't know why things keep turning into crabs, but things that are not crabs keep turning into things that look like crabs. An example of an animal that has evolved into a crab is a hermit crab. Hermit crabs are not true crabs. If you're trying to picture what a hermit crab looked like before it became a hermit crab, it most likely looked quite a bit like a shrimp or a very skinny lobster.
Oh, I didn't know that. So there are skinny lobster that then evolved to live in shells and became more crab-like?
So over the course of tens of millions of years, these hermit crab ancestors began to roll their tails up and project them at weird angles, and also enlarge their claws, and eventually came to resemble the crabs that we know today. At I Am Winter asks, fishes don't have eyelids, so do they ever sleep? The answer to that is yes. During the sleeping process in fishes, part of the brain shuts off, but they're still able to breathe, so you can still see their gill flaps moving. They have
So if you have a lobster as a pet and help it molt, you could theoretically live forever. Not exactly. They're not like immortal in the jellyfish is a whole different thing because the jellyfish can create a clone of itself. The lobster, there's a theoretical limit. It's just much longer than what you typically see from even, in captivity. If theoretically like a whole scientific lab opened up and their only goal was to keep this lobster alive for as long as possible, they probably could break some records, but not by a ton. Not by a ton. Not the same thing as the jellyfish, because the jellyfish literally can start over and create a clone that is itself, basically.
reduced response to stimuli, so you can
imagine if you could just be like, oh, I'm starving or I'm under threat, and you just make a copy of yourself as a 1-year-old. I mean, that's like what the jellyfish are doing. The lobster just kind of continue growing.
Basically touch a sleeping fish in many cases. In the case of whales, the patterns are very much the same. Part of their brain tells them to go up and take a breath of air, and then they'll do that, and then they'll come back down, all while sleeping. Sperm whales are...
Well, it's not immortal because it's not... you don't get it. It's not just that it's cloning. Lots of organisms clone themselves. But that's different. A clone is not necessarily you, but it's a clone... Yeah, never mind. Anyways, that was a cool video. Shout out Corey Evans. That has 1.2 million views. And he still only has 6,000 followers on Twitter. Ridiculous. He does some really cool research. A lot of his stuff, he has a lot of vertebral, what is that called? I don't know. Bones. Does a lot of cool stuff with like bone mapping and all that. CAT scanning. Bones. All right. Osteo something? No, not really. Not what I meant, but good try. What's next? Probably shitty aquariums. We don't exactly have enough videos for a TikTok time, but we can look at some bad aquariums, chat. I want to do a bad aquarium bingo. Can we do a bingo? Let's do bad aquarium bingo. All right, chat. Give me some things that typically happen during these. We need either 9 or 16 or something. All right, brown water. Okay. Low water. Sure. Too small. That's an easy one. No filter. Nah. Overstocked. Sure, sure. But they were so happy comment. Or like, we'll just say delusional owner. I think that counts as overstocked. Bowl. Well, bowl would count too small and overstocked at the same time. Let's try to get more unique things. Crazy design. Okay. SpongeBob decor. There you go. Pleco. Turtle. Yep, turtle torture. Let's try to get a 16. Give me 7 more. Rainbow gravel. Nice, nice. We're going to try to get bingo in bad aquariums as fast as possible. No substrate. Y has a free space. Plastic plant. Sure. Dead fish. Goldfish? Well, that's not necessarily bad. Goldfish bowl. Nah. We've got a lot of stuff like that. Let's try to get more unique ones. Sad looking fish. Well, you're just personifying them as much as the delusional owner. If we're guessing which fish are sad and which fish aren't. We already did rainbow gravel, Mothra. Plastic bag? No. Fish that will eat each other / fight when they're placed together. We'll just say bad compatibility. Change brown to weird watercolor. Okay, weird color water. We did overstocked. Tank in furniture. All right, one more, chat. Give me one more. We need 4 in a row for a bingo. Facebook Marketplace. All right. It's time for the Bad Aquariums speed run. All right. You guys ready? We're going to go as fast as we can through shitty aquariums to try and find all of the things that we can. All right. Hello, YouTube. We have made Bad Aquarium Bingo. These are 16 things that we commonly see when looking at bad aquariums. And we're going to see how fast we can get all of them. Ghost Boy's going to put a timer right there. I'm sorry, Ghost Boy, for making you do extra work, but live split would be a lot for me to manage. So Ghost Boy's going to put a timer right there. Everybody say thank you, Ghost Boy, in the YouTube comments. And then we're going to see how fast we can do it. All right. You guys ready? We are at top of the week. I need to be in Reddit mode. And now I am off center on my camera. One second. Just a quick little adjustment. Mala is not in her bed, so I'm going to remove the cat cam for now. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. A bunch of self-appointed beta-rightists. Plenty enough room for a beta. All right, we've got SpongeBob decor. Okay, that was an easy one. SpongeBob decor, done. We've got... I don't think this one's going to give us anything else. All right, what do we got next? Okay, weird pipe system, goldfish, plants. I don't think this checks anything. Is it a table? It's a table. Tank and furniture. Okay. Everything else, I don't think so. How can people be this stupid? That's overstocked. That's obviously overstocked. Okay. My roommate's goldfish, Jiminy Christmas. That's got no substrate. The fish isn't dead yet, I guess. Low water, delusional, crazy design. No. Okay. Oh, too small. All right. Oh, dude, we get bingo if we get a crazy design. How many plecos could I put in here? No. This is animal abuse. That's not going to register anything. What in the hell? Oh, that's the monster tank. It's not a, it's a normal color, though. Beautiful disaster. Damn it, that's tank and furniture. Oh, fake plants. Plastic plant. Oh, okay, we just need bad compatibility. Simply disgusting. Oh, that's lovely. Is it in a cake? And it's a weird color water. Oh my god, there's 3 to 4 different ways we can do this. Fish tank. There's substrate, it's just overstocked. SpongeBob decor, we already got that one. That's just overstocked. Facebook Marketplace, bad compatibility, Pleco, low water, okay. Beta Lounge, great. Facebook Marketplace, bingo. Stop the timer. Oh, we got 8 bad aquariums things. Oh, and rainbow gravel at the same time. We got rainbow gravel and Facebook Marketplace at the same time on this wonderful 10-gallon 4 fantail goldfish tank that we came across. Wow, truly an incredible round. That's going to be a tough speed run to beat. Shall we try though? Shall we try beating it? Am I able to get a different card? I'm not. Okay. Let's go for blackout. That's tough. Let's try and do it faster. Let's try and do it faster first. All right, Ghost Boy, new timer. Here we go. All right, everybody, get ready. Get stretched. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Holy, what the fuck is that watercolor? Okay. Okay, betta fish, there's no substrate in that tank. Oh, crap, I can't find it. I'm choking. No substrate. It's also too small, actually. We just need a delusional owner. Oh my god. Low water and turtle torture at the same time. Low water, turtle torture at a restaurant. Okay, that's lovely. Delusional owner. Facebook Marketplace. Okay. Gumball, overstocked. Well, not really. It's one fish. It's just too small. Facebook Marketplace. Shit, that's overstocked. Overstocked. Okay, we just need a tank and a furniture. Walmart's fish aisle. ID sharks are literally living in hell. Okay. Bettas with goldfish compatibility. Bad compatibility. Perfect starter tank. The wooden table has fish in it. Tank and furniture. Boom. Oh, I didn't X out delusional owner. Well, we got a double bingo. God, it is too easy. All right, do we try to? Yeah, that was definitely faster. Do we try to blackout? Do we try to get them all? Let's try to get them all. This is just the last week, by the way, on Shitty Aquariums. This is just the last week. All right. 10-gallon fish tank. Fish at the DMV. What are we looking for? We're looking for SpongeBob decor. Is that? No, that's just a parrotfish. A pleco, crazy design, plastic plant, dead fish, and rainbow gravel. Okay. All right. Merry-go-round for the fish. Okay. Oh, rainbow gravel. Okay, rainbow gravel. Easy, easy. Oh, I went back to the top. Whoopsies. Hold on. We didn't get here. Rainbow gravel. Okay. Crazy design. It's in a gumball machine. Crazy design. Any plastic plants? Those are real plants. That's overstocked. We already got that. Facebook Marketplace. We've got proof of concept. Okay. First planted tank. Crochet tank. Okay. Oh God, that's all the posts from the past week. We're gonna have to go to the past month if we wanna. Oh, hermit crab on rainbow gravel. Lovely. That's nice and overstocked. Shout out Peppa Pig. SpongeBob. How have we not come across a plastic plant or SpongeBob decor yet? Oh, plastic plant. We just need a pleco and SpongeBob decor and a dead fish. No. Jesus. No. Oh. It's not dead. It should be dead, but it's not dead. Nice. Where's the SpongeBob decor? Wait, there was a pleco in the monster tank? Where? Oh, pleco. Okay, SpongeBob decor and a dead fish. We just need SpongeBob decor and a dead fish. Oh my God. Pink water. We're just gonna re-scroll into the old... Oh my God, more turtle torture. Rainbow gravel. There's so much rainbow gravel. Oh, wait. Not a dead fish. Oh my God, neon tetras. SpongeBob decoration. Okay, we just need a dead fish now. That doesn't happen that... What the fuck is this? That doesn't happen that commonly here. Oh, wait. There's got to be a dead fish in this. Oh, maybe not. Bettas are invincible. This is tough. There's got to be a dead fish in that glowfish tank. You're right, but we can't assume. Oh, yep. Okay. Toilet tank. Does it have a bass speaker on it? Is the toilet lid a speaker? And the back is... Jesus, man. People really be just doing things out here. Lovely. Wow. You know what? I'm proud of fish owners for the... What the fuck? Fish owners for the past month. No dead fish. I mean, theoretically, this has to be... There has to be dead fish in here, but... Aquarium 50 liters versus fork? Okay, we don't need to make an assumption. Bro is diving in there with a fork. I think we can go ahead and click dead fish and consider that we've gotten ourselves a blackout. This is insane. Oh yeah, also the bass speaker toilet is going to cook the fish instantly. The goldfish with the orange-black goldfish had a dead one in the corner, I'm sure. Well, we got it anyways. Wow. What an incredible time that was, speed running Shitty Aquariums. I truly feel like a grown human. I do not feel like I have lost some piece of my soul by going through these. All right. Well, that's enough of that. We've gone through all the content that the subreddit has as fast as possible. That was incredibly inefficient in terms of content, but it was fun. So tonight, I'm going to go into the forest. I got these big lamps, and I'm going to set them up in the forest to try to catch cool bugs. So I'm going to go into the forest tonight and try to catch cool bugs. And then I'm also working on a fishing bingo video. Yeah. Got other stuff I'm working on, more like offline content. But that is going to be it for today in terms of this stream. So have a good night, everyone. Everyone use, all of the subs use Liz's new emotes. AVNJ, I can't remember any of them. Liz, help. Okay, well those are the new ones. Groovin, right? AVNJ Groovin and AVNJ EP. EP. There you go. AVNJ EP and AVNJ Groovin. All right, bye everyone. AVNJ Groovin. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Let's go. We're grooving. Wait, why aren't they animated on the sidebar? Why is the EP animated, but the grooving isn't on my on-screen chat? Ah, well. Bye, everyone.